Hello everyone! I'm Thomas and today we will tour the amazing Ecuador. In this video, we will embark on a journey through a country full of diversity and natural wonders. From the majestic Andes Mountains to the lush Amazon jungle, to the beautiful Pacific beaches and the fascinating Galapagos Islands, Ecuador has something for everyone. We will explore its rich culture, its delicious gastronomy, and the warmth of its people. Get ready to discover impressive landscapes, vibrant traditions, and the incredible biodiversity that makes Ecuador a unique destination in the world. Join me on this exciting adventure through Ecuador.
Hello everyone! I'm Andy the Globetrotter, and I will accompany you and Thomas on this fantastic trip through Ecuador. Are you ready? Come on!
Ecuador. Located in the northwestern region of South America, it borders Colombia to the north and Peru to the south and east. To the west, it borders the Pacific Ocean. Although its capital is Quito, the most populous city and one of the main economic centers of the country is Guayaquil. Spanish is the official and majority language. In addition, Quechua and other indigenous languages have a strong presence due to the importance of these groups in the country. The currency of Ecuador is the dollar, USD. More than 90% of the inhabitants are Catholics. Approximately 10% follow other religions, mostly Christian. Ecuador has a tropical climate that varies with altitude and regions. The weather can be very variable in the same day, but it is usually very pleasant with a feeling of eternal spring. There are mainly two seasons, although with climate change the seasons are less defined than before. In winter, from December to May, when the weather is warm and rainy. In summer, from June to November, it is the dry season, with cooler temperatures. However, Ecuador has very different microclimates depending on the four main areas.
This was an excellent start on Ecuador. Now let's go to your current situation. Come on!
Current affairs in Ecuador. It is a constitutional state of rights and justice, social, democratic, sovereign, independent, unitary, intercultural, plurinational, and secular. Its form of government is a presidential republic. Ecuador has a small economy, quite open and very dependent on oil revenues. Besides oil and agriculture, the most important sectors are commerce and services. Ecuadorians are competitive and status-oriented, although collectivist rather than individualist. People seek a society that grants them status and rewards linked to performance, but often sacrifice leisure in favor of work. What to see and do in Ecuador? The capital of Ecuador is one of the most emblematic cities in South America, situated on the slopes of the Pichincha volcano. Visitors are enchanted by the blend of nature and colonial-era buildings. Additionally, being the country's most important city, it is a true cultural epicenter with all kinds of museums. The Baños de Agua Santa is one of the most important natural spaces in South America and the most important place to see in Ecuador. This town is also known as the Gateway to El Dorado, referring to the legendary mythical city that the area of this province recalls. One of the most important tourist attractions in Ecuador is the visit to the Museum and Monument of the Middle of the World. This site symbolizes the division between the northern and southern hemispheres with a mark on the plaza floor where you can feel, for a moment, on both sides of the world. Ecuadorian food. Ceviche, this dish, known worldwide, is made from raw seafood. In Ecuador, as in Colombia, shrimp ceviche is the star. It is prepared by marinating it with lemon and lime juice, and it includes onions, tomato, and salt.
Ecuador seems like an incredible place to visit and enjoy its gastronomy. Now let's get to your curiosities. Come on!
Curiosities of Ecuador. 1. As occurred with Mexico, Peru, and other nations of South America, these lands were first conquered by the Inca Empire in the 15th century. Later, in the mid-16th century, the Spaniards began their rule. 2. One of the most interesting curiosities about Ecuador related to its history is that after gaining independence from Spain, the Venezuelan leader Simón Bolívar united the country with Venezuela and Colombia, which included what is now Panama, to form a great nation called Gran Colombia. This project lasted from 1819 to 1830, after which it split into 3 different countries, one of them being Ecuador. 3. One of the curiosities about Ecuador is that voting when called to the polls is not only a right but also an obligation. All citizens between 18 and 65 years old are required to vote. 4. Originality was not very present when choosing the name of this exotic nation. In fact, Ecuador is the only country named after a geographical feature. It is called Ecuador because the equator runs through it. Although it is not the only nation crossed by this line, it is the one that kept the name. 5. Among the curiosities of Ecuador is the fact that they are the owners of the top of the world. Indeed, it is the point farthest from the center of the earth, Mount Chimborazo. It beats Everest by approximately 2.4 kilometers. This is due to the Earth's bulge at the equator. 6. Adding to the curiosities of Ecuador is that its national tree, the cinchona, is the one that produces quinine, the first medicine used to prevent and treat malaria. 7. Ecuador is geographically divided into 4 very different regions: the coast, which are the low-lying coastal lands, the Sierra or highlands of the mountains, the Amazon or the Orient, which are the lowlands of the eastern jungle, and finally the insular region, which are the Galapagos Islands, located about 1,000 kilometers from mainland Ecuador. 8. Another curiosity about Ecuador worth mentioning is that it was one of the first countries in the world to eliminate the death penalty. It did so in 1906. 9. In Ecuador, the length of the days practically does not vary between winter and summer, and this is due to its location on the equator. Sunrise and sunset occur around 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. throughout the year. 10. Adding to this list of Ecuador's curiosities is the fact that its territory includes the world's highest active volcano, Cotopaxi.
Well, this was all about the current situation in Ecuador. Now let's go to your story. Come on.
History of Ecuador. Ecuador, located on the northwest coast of South America, has a rich history spanning thousands of years. Before the arrival of Europeans, various indigenous cultures, such as the Quitus and Canaris, inhabited the region. In the 15th century, the Inca Empire incorporated the Ecuadorian territory into its vast domain. In 1533, the Spaniards, led by Francisco Pizarro, conquered the area and established the Real Audiencia of Quito in 1563. For almost 3 centuries, Ecuador was part of the Viceroyalty of Peru and later the Viceroyalty of New Granada. In 1822, the country gained independence from Spain after the Battle of Pichincha and joined Gran Colombia, from which it separated in 1830, forming the Republic of Ecuador. Since then, the country has experienced periods of political instability, economic growth, and profound social reforms, consolidating itself as a democratic nation today.
This was all about the wonderful history of Ecuador. Now let's get to some questions for fun. Come on. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Yeah! I hope you've enjoyed the blend of history and charm. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and, of course, subscribe for more adventures. See you at the next destination. Bye for now.